In today's world, with the screens being so wide, it's not uncommon to move the Properties toolbox on the left-hand side of the screen over to the right. To do so, you just hover the cursor over the blue bar at the top of the Properties toolbox, pick and hold down, and drag the box horizontally across the screen and place it on the right-hand side. What this does is it gives you the advantage of seeing the entire project browser on the left-hand side and much of the Properties toolbox on the right-hand side, and still leaves plenty of room in the middle of the screen to work with. Okay, in this demonstration, we're going to discuss the major components of the screen. I'm going to flip over to a graphic. And you'll see the dozen or so primary headings for the Revit program. I'm going to start off in the upper left-hand corner with the purple R. The purple R is like a old-fashioned Windows-based program where you can access many of the typical standard commands like open, save, new, print, commands like that. Just to the right of the purple R is the Quick Access toolbar. And this toolbar is present in every view of the Revit program and has similar commands that you'll find in the purple R. Open, save, undo, measure. It has the doghouse symbol, which we'll talk about later, text symbol, and the light line, heavy line command. Just below is the ribbon. The ribbon is the heart of the Revit program. It contains all of the commands that you'll be working with. At the top of the ribbon are the tabs. These are the tabs that you will tab through to pick different categories to display a multiple array of commands. On the bottom of the ribbon are the subtabs. So under each of the tabs you'll have a new group of subtabs that group the commands together in like groups. And right underneath the ribbon is the Options toolbar. The Options toolbar right now is blank, but as you pick commands, it's a dynamic toolbar that changes with each command that you select. Over on the left-hand side of the screen is the project browser. The project browser is the location of all of the views that are active in the project that you're working in right now. On the far right-hand side of the screen is the Properties toolbox. The Properties toolbox is also a dynamic feature. As you pick new commands off of the ribbon up above, the Properties toolbox will display features associated with the option that you picked, just like the Options toolbar does just underneath the ribbon. Out in the middle of the screen is the drawing area. The drawing area is where you'll actually build your three-dimensional model. You'll notice in this particular view, which is level 1 under floor plans, is a plan view, and you'll see that there are 4 elevation directional arrows all pointing back towards the center of the screen. In the far lower left-hand corner is the status bar. The status bar will give you information regarding the command that you're working on at this particular time. In the lower left-hand corner of the screen is the Visual toolbar. The Visual toolbar is where you'll change the visual configuration of the screen. A couple of the most common commands used on the Visual toolbar, of course, is setting the scale, and over near the right-hand end is the Sunglass tool. And again, we'll come back and talk about these options later. In the upper right hand corner of the drawing area is the navigation toolbar. This toolbar is the toolbar that you use for orbiting or rotating your three-dimensional model out in the middle of your screen, and also the location of the zoom commands. But what I would like to say right now is, with the standard Microsoft mouse, where the left hand button on your mouse is the pick button and the right hand button on your mouse is the enter button, the roller button on your mouse works like a zooming feature. And if you pick and hold down on the roller button on the mouse, it should pan the screen. I say should because sometimes the configuration of the mouse to the computer is set up differently and it may not work properly. And if that's the case, talk to the instructor and we'll figure out how to make that work. So going back to the Revit screen, this is what the Revit screen looks like. Across the top of the screen is the purple R. When I pick on the purple R, it activates this pull down menu, and in that pull down menu there are numerous commands that you can pick from: open, save, new, save as, print. And then just to the right of the purple R, here's the quick access toolbar. See, here you got measure. Here's that doghouse icon that I was talking about, which is the default 3D view. Then you have the tabs that go across the top of the ribbon, and as I pick on each tab, you'll see that the commands that are displayed on the ribbon change with each selection. So the insert, the annotate tab, analyze, structure, massing on site, collaborate, view, manage, add-ins, and then modify. So you'll also notice that under the ribbon are the sub-tabs, and you'll see that the sub-tabs change with each selection that you make. So here's the sub-tabs associated with the Modify tab. Let me go back to the Home tab, and now you can see the tabs that show up under the Home tab. Okay, the Options toolbar, like I said before, is blank. Let me pick a command. I'm just going to pick the Wall command. And when I do so, you'll see that the Options toolbar will then become populated with features or options that are associated with the Wall command. Now you may not have seen that, but the Properties toolbox also over on the right hand side of your screen has changed and is now associated with the Wall command. Okay, out in the middle of the screen again is the main drawing area with the elevation directional arrows. These elevation directional arrows are directly related to the views over in the project browser under elevation, north, east, south, and west. Okay, you'll notice down the status line in the far lower left hand corner of the screen, it's asking me to click enter wall start point. Now for those people who are somewhat familiar with the AutoCAD program, this would kind of be similar to the command lines in AutoCAD. The instructions that you find on the status line are very abbreviated compared to the AutoCAD program. But in any case, it is asking me to enter the wall start point. Then we have in the lower left hand corner of the drawing area is the visual toolbar. And right now the scale for this view, and it's view specific, is 1/8 of an inch equals a foot. Now if I pick on that, it'll cascade up the screen a pull or fly up menu, and you'll see that there are many different scales that I can choose from. Oops, I picked on the screen, activated the Wall command. Okay, additionally on the visual toolbar you have the visual styles. These are the standard visual styles available with the Revit program. And then we have the sunglass tool over here, and you can see that the options are all grayed out because I haven't selected an object. And then right next to that is the light bulb symbol. Again, another command that you'll use quite often on the visual toolbar. Up in the upper right hand corner of the screen we have the navigation toolbar, we have the orbit command, and we have the zoom commands. But like I said earlier, it's much better to use the roller button on the mouse to zoom in and zoom out. And I'm going to do that right now. You'll see as I zoom out and then zoom back in by just using the roller button on the mouse. You can also pick and hold down on the roller button and pan the screen like this. So you pick and hold down on the roller button to pan. Okay, we have the project browser on the left hand side. The project browser will show you the different views that have been created so far in the Revit program. The views that are resident right now are the views that will show up as the generic template in Revit. And you see you have headings such as floor plans, ceiling plans, and elevations. Right now in bold, level 1 is highlighted. That's the current level that you see out on the middle of the screen. If I change it, let's say, to the south elevation, and I'll double click on the south, and in doing so it toggles my screen to a south elevation. These level lines we'll talk about later. But again, you look in the project browser and you'll see that the south view is now bold. That shows you the view that we're now working in. I'm going to go back to level number 1. And when I did so, the properties toolbox over on the right hand side of the screen is now set to the properties for the view. A few minutes ago I picked the wall command, and when I did that, the properties toolbox changed over to the wall command properties. Another thing that you'll notice is the cursor on the screen. The cursor will change depending upon the mode that you're in. Right now it's an arrow cursor. The cursor is dynamic, much different than, let's say, the AutoCAD program or some other graphics programs. The cursor modifies or changes with each command selected. Okay, in quick review, we have the purple R, the quick access, the tabs, the ribbon, the subtabs, the options toolbar, the project browser, the properties toolbox, the navigation toolbar, the elevation directional arrows, the status toolbar, and the visual toolbar.